Hello, my old school soul food family. Chef Jeff is back with another video. Hey, y'all saw by the PV picture. This is April. I told y'all before. I'm doing a little lighter items. I said, why is pork chop light? Because the way I'm preparing it today is going to be really light, y'all. So I'm doing a stuffed pork chop. I'm going to stuff it with like a cornbread and brioche stuffing. Cornbread brioche stuffing with some little apples and celery and onions in there, and I'm going to have a little sauce. It's not going to be a gravy, but a nice sauce with some sliced onions and apples on the outside too. Nice, beautiful, tender, juicy pork chop. But the key to this pork chop is how I prepare it from the beginning. I'm going to brine this pork chop. Because as you see, let me get my tongs here. See how thick this pork chop is? Now if I cook this like this, when I'm brining it, it tends to be tough, chalky, and chewy. Even after it get tender, it still have that chalkiness to it that I do not like. So what I do, I'm gonna create a brine to this. Let me put the pork chop to the side here. And all the brine is, it's kind of similar to my brine I do for my turkey for Thanksgiving, but a little slight difference. The water in here, and I got the recipe in the description of the video, y'all. Few items that I use. Water, of course. I got some kosher salt here. Some kosher salt. Apple cider vinegar. Granulated garlic. Got some black pepper. Some people use peppercorns. Peppercorns do nothing to it. All you got some peppercorns just sitting in there. I like if you're gonna use black pepper, I like to be broke up already. A little light brown sugar. And that's it. We need to make sure all this is completely dissolved. This is cold water, y'all. Cold water. Just make sure it's really dissolved. And that's the brine right there. And I got some bay leaves gonna go in it, but I'll put the bay leaves in the bag with the pork chops to make sure they're evenly distributed. Okay, now I got a Ziploc bag here. I got 5 pork chops, so I'm gonna put 3 in one bag and 2 in the other. In here like this. A couple of bay leaves in here. Put about 2 bay leaves in here with this. I'll put 3 since it's 3 pork chops. What I'm going to do, hold it over the sink here. And pour the brine in here. Pour half the brine in here. What I'm going to do is close the bag up. Make sure to get as much air out of it as I can. And that's it. And I'm going to lay it in the refrigerator like this. Pretty much overnight. At least 10 hours I try to do. At least 10 hours like this. Put it in the refrigerator just like this and let them sit in the brine just like that. Preferably overnight, y'all. Now I'm gonna do the next one here, and then tomorrow when I come back, I'm gonna show you how we cook these things off. I'm gonna come back probably won't be tomorrow, probably about 8 hours later on today, this afternoon, because it's morning right now. Later this afternoon, I'll come back, we'll take them out of the brine, we'll pretty much pat them dry, we'll cut the slit into them. First I'm going to make the stuffing. When I come back, I'm going to show you how I make the stuffing for it. We'll come back, we'll pat them dry out the brine, make the pocket for them, stuff them in there, and go from the process. This is a process, y'all, but the end result is absolutely amazing. Who doesn't love stuffed pork chops? I can't believe anybody don't like stuffed pork chops. Especially if the stuffing is perfectly made, seasoned, and the pork chops are perfectly tender, and then it's got that nice little sauce on it. I'm not going to say gravy, because gravy is a little bit heavy for this. It's a nice little sauce on it to go with it, with some white rice or mashed potato, however you like to eat it. So anyway, I will be back in a while here, and we'll go to the next process of the most tender, juiciest, flavorful stuffed pork chops you ever tasted. We'll be right back. Okay, y'all, we are back with the pork chops here. Y'all probably saying, what is all this stuff I have out here? This is the stuff I'm going to use to make the stuffing and the sauce. I already prepped everything to allow the video not to be so long. But I'm going to tell you what I have here. And all these ingredients is in the description of the video. I got brioche here, diced up, and I put it in the oven and toasted it off. The reason I toasted it off so it don't soak up the liquid too fast when I make the stuffing. And you'll see later on here in a few minutes. I got some old cornbread. It's like I let it sit on top of the stove for 3 days and just dry out. Some cornbread, just regular cornbread, no sugar, just like you making dressing. Same type of cornbread. I got celery and onions diced up very small, which I'm gonna put in the skillet right now. But this for the stuffing. I need it to start cooking off. Turn this up. Get that to cooking. I got some apples here. I'm gonna add to this just in a few minutes after this get translucent and soft. Some McIntosh apple. I like McIntosh apples or Honey Crisp because they hold up better to me in the cooking process and they're not as tart as a Granny Smith and not as soft as a regular Red Delicious apple. So these 3 items is gonna be for the stuffing. This here, I got sliced yellow onions, a white onion, and sliced apples. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna set this to the side. That's gonna go in the sauce. I got a couple of eggs, a little parsley gonna go in the stuffing and the sauce. Sage for the stuffing, salt and pepper, a little chicken stock. And that's it. Like I said, the first step here, we want to get these onions and celery cooking off. Like I say, y'all, it's very important too for the stuffed pork chop. If your stuffing is not good, the pork chops ain't gonna be good. That's the key to stuffed pork chops, y'all. So we're gonna get this here. And like I say, I like my onions and celery and stuff to be where I can taste it but not feel it. I don't like it to be firm. Just like in my dressing. Make sure y'all can see this. Y'all can see it. Let me go up a little bit more here. Alrighty. Alright, so y'all can see what I'm doing here. Alright. This here. Just sauteing all. Like I said, I diced it really, really small, y'all. Because I want to taste it, but I don't want to feel the consistency of it. I want it to be translucent. Y'all remember the pork chops that I brined? While that's going, I'm going to take them out of the brine here. I'm going to drain them out of the brine. Let me get my colander here. Got my colander here and I'm going to drain them off. Move this around here. I don't want to burn them. I don't want no color on them now. I just want them translucent. Move them around in the skillet. Okay, y'all remember before I left yesterday, my pork chops here that's been sitting in the brine. They've been sitting in there for 24 hours, y'all. I let them go a whole 24 hours. Like I said, you don't have to let them go 24 hours. You don't have the time to do it, but it's best for the best result. I let them go 24 hours. So I'm gonna get them the babies off of here. We're gonna let them drain in the sink here. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna add my apples to this. You know, apples and pork chops go together so well, y'all. Apples and pork go together so well. Not only pork chop, just pork in general go together so well. So we're gonna put some apples in here. If you don't like apples, you don't have to put it. And I'm making a lot of stuffing because later on, I'm gonna freeze what's left and I'm gonna make a stuffed pork loin with this later on in another video. So that's why I'm making a lot of stuff in here. I'm gonna show y'all how to make a stuffed pork loin that's absolutely amazing. But like I say, the stuffing is the most important part of this. The reason I put the apples last, but apples actually don't take that long. Pork chops here. Put them in the bowl here while I'm doing that. Y'all wonder what am I doing? I got the pork chops here. I'm putting them in the bowl here after I drain them. All right. Okay, flip these over a little, and that's pretty much what I'm looking for right there, y'all. Turn this off. That's what I'm looking for. Now, we're gonna turn this a little where y'all can see what I'm doing, but I'm gonna go to the complete over here. Y'all see my nice pork chops here I drained off. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add this to my cornbread I crumbled up. I already got in the bowl crumbled up for y'all. Okay. 1 second, y'all. Set some room in here. Okay. Now I'm gonna add my croutons to this. My brioche, I call them croutons, which that's what they are now. I put them in the oven and toasted them all. Now I'm gonna mix this up. This up in here. I think the croutons add body to it. The brioche, I mean, adds some more body and texture to the stuffing. Now, I'm gonna season this here with a salt and pepper. Put some sage in there. It's gonna taste kind of like dressing, pretty much similar to dressing, y'all. I'm like eating cornbread dressing stuffed pork chop. Without the giblets. Okay. Now, a little parsley in here for color. Okay, y'all with me here? Trying to go as slow as possible. Sometimes people say I go too fast, so. Okay. Now. Okay, now I'm gonna put chicken stock in here. You just want enough chicken stock to make it wet, to soak up it. You don't want a soupy, you don't want it too soupy. I'm gonna show you the consistency I'm looking for here in a second. Here. You want to allow all that to soak up the liquid. Now, we're going to put our eggs. Let me mix my eggs up in here. This is what's going to bind it, the eggs. If I put it in here like this with no binder, this stuff just going to ooze right out of the pork chop and not bind together. Put some eggs in here. Set up in there. I think we got it. We don't need no more liquid, y'all. As this set up, y'all, that's why I'm doing this before. It's best to do this, you know, a few minutes before you get your pork chops prepped. When I mean prepped is, I'm gonna cut the slit in them, all that. You can do this first. That's it, y'all. That's what we're looking for. That's the consistency we're looking for right there. Some nice pork chop stuffing right here, y'all. Get this out the way. Put this over here out the way. Clean up here. I know I cannot stand mess. Okay, put that over there. Okay. Make sure this is full incorporated, y'all. Full incorporated. Like I said, I'm gonna have some stuffing left over. to make my stuffed pork loin. That's what you want right here, y'all. See that? See that consistency? That's what you want. You don't want it too loose. You don't want it too dry. Because it's actually going to cook inside the pork chop as it's cooking. So we're going to put this aside. Now we're going to prep our pork chops. And what I like to do on this pan here, got a bigger pan somewhere. We'll lay it right on here. And I like to dry these pork chops off with a paper towel. Number one, it's easier to, once you put in that brine, they become slick. Let me get a paper towel here. They become slick and hard to handle, and you definitely want a slick pork chop when you're handling it with a knife, trying to cut the slit in it. Very dangerous. So, and that black pepper on there, don't worry about that. That's just extra flavor. Y'all already know that. So make sure you dry them off. And I'm gonna show you here how to cut the slit in them, and we're gonna go from there, y'all. Take a sharp knife, the sharpest you. I like to use a little paring knife. A little paring knife like this. I like to hold them up here and just go down just like this. You don't want to go down too far in. Say, why the guy got his finger in there? Because I've been doing this for years, y'all, so be very careful when you put your slit in there. That's what you want. I like a big slit. See like that? That's what you want. I'll do one more here. Like I said, I like to set mine up. If you do, be very careful. Make sure you got a good hole. Go right down the middle, not too far down. I like to go all the way to the bone. Because I like a real thick pork chop, y'all. Not thick pork chop, but real. See that? That's it. So I'm going to step off. I'm going to do the rest. We're going to come back. I'm going to show you how we stuff them, how we sear them, and we're going to get on with this video. So we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, we are back here. We got all the slits in them. Now we're going to stuff these things, which is so simple. All the hard work is over with, y'all. Now, all I'm going to do, take a spoon. Got my gloves on here. I'm going to stuff this stuffing in there, y'all. Just like that. I'm going to come back later and we're going to get a toothpick. And we're going to close them with a toothpick. That right there. This one in there. You gotta see what I'm doing here. You don't want to put too much because this definitely going to expand on you, y'all. Once it starts cooking, it's definitely going to expand. Down in there. Go. Look at that. Look at that, y'all. Nothing like good old stuffed pork chop, right? Good old stuffed pork chops. And y'all can, you know, you can be creative with your stuffing. You want to put meat in the stuffing, you can. You want to just use cornbread, you can. If you don't have brioche, you don't have to do that. But I recommend using some flour-based bread with it to give it more stability in your stuffing. You'll see what I'm talking about later on after it's cooked. Okay. Now, move this out the way. Take these gloves off. Put this stuff in here out the way. What I do, got some toothpicks here, but I don't have the right toothpicks, y'all. I got the one with the frizzle on the end. So I'm gonna have to stick it as much as I can. Just like that. And they don't have to be perfectly, y'all. Just want to get some kind of stability on them. Put too much stuffing in that one, y'all. Too much stuffing in there. That's okay. There we go. Another one here. Like I said, I got the fancy toothpicks. I gotta cut the little frizzle off the end of them. It's okay though. One in the middle. Another thing, make sure you take the toothpicks out when your pork chops is ready. You don't want nobody biting down on the toothpick. Do one more to show y'all. There you go. Two. I try to put 3 in there. It shouldn't take no more than 3. One more here. Like I say, y'all, it is a lot of more work than a normal pork chop, but at the end result, it's so worth it. Like sometimes cooking is, like I say, some items are time consuming. But I figured out the most time consuming dishes are usually the best ones. That doesn't say for everything, but the majority of them, if they're time consuming, they're really, really worth it. Get in there. You don't want to get in there. I think I got one more, y'all. That's right here. Is that all of them? That's it. I'm moving so quick, y'all. Look how quick I'm moving. Push that down in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and put one here in the middle of this one. This one don't have one in the middle. There we go. Now, let me clean up my hands here. Turn my skillet on over here, which I should have had already on. See, I'm usually organized like that, y'all. Y'all don't have to wait on me to get the skillet warmed up. Okay, now, what I want to do now, we want to season these again, the pork chop, on both sides. We use our tongues now for this. These are very fragile though, y'all. I have to remember that. Okay. Let me get my camera. Okay, and my skillet is heating up there, y'all. We're gonna put my seasoning on there, like I always put. I got my Cavenders. We're gonna season both sides of these. Now, you don't have to season it a lot now. Remember they had salt in the, that's why I'm not gonna put actual salt on these. Cause I got salt already in the brine. Okay. Okay, we're gonna flip these over. Be very careful because they're very fragile right now. Until I put that flour on them, sear them off. Very fragile with the stuffing in them. I know y'all saying ain't no way I'm gonna do no stuffed pork chops this much work. It just looked like a lot of work, but I'm telling y'all, this is something you can do for Sunday dinner. Sunday, just do it Saturday night. You can have everything prepped like this, and all you do when you get home from church, or when you get up that morning, just there we go. There we go, just like that. And just put them in the oven. Okay, now, one more step here, y'all. You get some oil and put in my skillet here. We fit to sear these off with flour. Got my flour somewhere here. Okay. Now you don't have to. You don't have. You can sear them straight on here without flour. The reason I'm using flour, y'all, is because I need the flour residue to make the sauce. So you're gonna go all the way like this, dust the extra flour off, and put them just like this. And it's gonna take me a couple of, turns, buddies. But I'm just gonna get a nice sear on them. Okay, once they get seared on, brown on each side, I'll do the other ones. So I'm gonna step off. I'm gonna come back when I got the last one in there, so y'all have to sit here and watch me sear off some pork chops. And oh, I didn't even turn it where you see what I'm doing. See how I got them in there? Let me get my pan here. So I'm gonna sear these off. I'll be right back when I got the last one in there. I'm gonna put them in the pan. We're gonna make the sauce and put them in the oven. We'll be right back. Okay, y'all, we back here. Okay, I'm almost through with my last one here. See how pretty these are? Nice and seared off. The stuffing haven't come out. That's the key, y'all. You don't want the stuffing to come out of these. You want them to bake completely without the stuffing coming out. And why I put the toothpicks in there. So I'm gonna take this last one out. And y'all see I'm using my old school utensil pots here. Okay, I'm gonna put my onions in here, time to make the sauce, y'all. Onions in there. This is gonna be more of a sauce than a gravy because I want what it is. I want the steam. This sauce gonna be real liquidy, so I want the steam from the liquid to tenderize these pork chops. These pork chops gonna take about an hour. It's gonna take about an hour and a half, hour to 45 minutes. Because you see how thick they are. But I brine them, which helps a lot. That's going to make them be juicy and tender when they come out. So I got my onions in here, all that good flavor in there with the onions. The onions translucent. Then I'm going to add my apples to this. Get them all them all tender there. Then I'm gonna add just a little flour to this. I'm gonna season it up. I'm gonna add a little flour and I'm gonna add my chicken stock to this. Season it up and pour it over the pork chop and let it cook. I got my oven set on 375. I'm doing 375. I usually do 350 on things. This one can do 375. I never cook no more than 350, 375. I see some people cooking things 400 degrees. I just can't do that. Just around here. Now I'm gonna add a little flour to this. I'm gonna use the same flour that I use to bread my pork chops with. Now I get my chicken stock. Add my chicken stock to this. See, I'm out of my old school chicken stock. I'm adding all this to this. And all this liquid, y'all. All this liquid to this. Just cook a little. I'm definitely gonna season this up. Let me get my salt and pepper. Bring this to a boil. Get my salt and pepper. About the salt and pepper today. Y'all see I season in 3 stages. I season my brine for my pork chop. I season the stuffing. I season the pork chop itself. Now I'm seasoning the sauce. Like I said, I like the layer, season in layers. So everything got good flavor, y'all. Everything good flavor. Now y'all see how loose this sauce is? That's what I want. I don't want it no thicker than that. Number one, it's gonna thicken up as it's cooking in the oven. Number two, I need that liquid steam to on these pork chops to help tenderize it. So we're gonna cook this just a little bit more. I don't want to cook it too much longer. I don't want the apples to get too mushy. And the apples bring so much flavor to pork, y'all. Anybody that ever cook pork, you know, pork, applesauce, pork slice, apples on top, pork loin, it all works well together. Okay, last thing I'm gonna do, add my parsley to this. A nice color. Let me check my seasoning just to make sure. Oh wow, it's awesome. Okay, all I'm gonna do now, pour it on top of the pork chop right there, and here, and the rest here. Now, it's not gonna have to smother, you know, it don't have to fill over the pork chop, y'all. That's another thing, because like I say, the steam from this, when I cover this with the lid I have right here, cover it with my lids, it's gonna create a steam. And the steam from this loose sauce is gonna cause these pork chops to cook and become very, very tender. So anyway, we'll be back in about an hour and a half when these pork chops is ready. We're gonna have the best. I know this video is kind of long, but I'm trying to teach along, and it's kind of different. I just throw it together and I teach y'all why I'm doing something. Because there's a reason why I do every step in the kitchen. I don't just be throwing stuff on the, throwing seasoning on there, just doing something just spontaneously. There's a reason why I do things when I cook in the kitchen. And it's just an educational moment when I cook. So anyway, we'll be back in an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45 minutes. And we'll show you the nice, juicy pork chop. We'll be back. Okay, y'all, we are back here. And let's see what we got here. Look at that. Look at these nice pork chops. Look at that. Nice pork chops here, y'all. Let me get a close-up here of that. Like that. Now, what we're going to do, take one out of here. Nice and tender, y'all. I'm telling y'all. Put one here on the plate. Look at that. And see how the stuffing stayed inside it? You see that little sauce? Like I said, I don't call it gravy. I call it sauce. See? It's just thick enough, just thin enough. Look at that. Perfect. Now we're going to put it over here, and I'm going to take these toothpicks out of here. Shoot it over here. Let me get the toothpicks out of here, y'all. On the toothpicks. That's going to be the thing. There we go. Let's see if I can find the toothpicks up in here. There we go. One. There's another one up in here. Hold on. Let me cut into it here. And I'll find that toothpick in a second. See how juicy that is, y'all? Look how juicy and falling apart that is. See how the stuffing held up? Let's try this out. Oh no. It's hot in my mouth. So flavorful, so juicy. If y'all remember, I brined the pork chop. That's why it's so tender and juicy. That is a toothpick. Once they get cool, I can take all the toothpicks out, y'all. These will take out once it get cold. But I know they're in there, so I know where they are. So if you're cooking this for your family and friends, make sure you take the toothpicks out. That little sauce there. See the apple? I'm telling y'all, it took a while to do this recipe, but this is a nice recipe. Another bite here. Apple there. It's a good weekend meal. Make this stuff ahead of time. Like I say, I made a lot extra. I'm gonna do a pork loin here in the next few weeks to show you how to do a stuffed pork loin. But you can do this ahead. I can't stop eating this stuff, y'all. And you see how the stuffing stayed in the pork chop? You ever see recipes and videos of people stuffing? You lose all the stuffing outside of the pork chop. It stayed in. Okay, y'all. Let me close this video out. Now, I can only eat one of these, y'all. I can eat, but I can only eat one stuffed pork chop. But anyway, let me close this video out. Like all my other videos, please follow my other social media accounts: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch TV, Pinterest, and oldschoolsoulfood.com. Remember the hashtag help somebody old school soul food for 2021. Until next time, have a blessed old school soul food day, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Bye.